Black politicians, pastors, right? After every news shooting that you see something happens, a pastor will come and say, oh, we need to stop these guns from coming in our streets and yada, yada, yada. I need the Black community to stop internalizing racism. We, the Black community, always accuse, and oftentimes rightfully so, of other people being racist to us and treating us unfairly. But however, we're doing the same thing. Why is it in the Black community, the propaganda is that a young Black boy and a gun is a criminal, but a young white boy with a gun is a Boy Scout? Why do there two different labels? Tamir Rice. If you don't know who Tamir Rice is, look up that case. Tamir Rice, the cop got out and shot that boy in less than 2 seconds because he had a toy gun in his hand. How did you critically assess the situation? How did you use that firearm as a tool of last resort? What other tools did you have in your toolbox that you could have done? Right? Why is it that we automatically criminalize Black and brown people with firearms? Why can't Black and brown people be patriots as well? And this is something that our Black leadership does all the time. A young Black boy having an interest in firearms is not a bad thing. Why is it when Timmy goes hunting and goes to the range with his dad, it's okay. But when Jamal wants to learn about firearms, you tell him, don't touch guns, stay away from guns, guns are bad. Don't be a criminal. Why is there two sets of messaging? That's internal racism. So I'm talking to you, Black people, Black gun owners, Black politicians. Before we worry about anybody else, why don't we worry about ourselves? Why do we instantly criminalize young Black youth and firearms? Black youth don't die because of Black on Black crime, which is a made-up term, but you say that all the time. Black youth don't die because of gang violence. Black youth that die with firearms or buy firearms die due to a lack of education, training, and resources. Little Timmy was able to go to his gun range where they have a fishing lake where he could learn how to fish. They have a trap range where he could learn how to trap shoot. And then he has a gun range where he can go shoot pistols and rifles. And then he can go hunting with his grandpa and live his best life and have a nice, healthy relationship with firearms. Jamal had the same exact interest as little Timmy, but he didn't have those resources in his neighborhood. So therefore, the way he can go and interact with firearm was in a negative light. I need Black Democrats to stop saying that Black people with guns is what leads to crime. It's a lack of education, access to training and resources. That is the reason why we're dying. Because ever since I was a kid, I've been getting that message. Guns are bad. Black people with guns are bad. Don't touch them. Leave them alone. How's that working out for y'all? Black anti-gun politicians. When has, what's the term I'm looking for? Abstinence when has abstinence worked? We've been preaching to Black youth to stay away from guns. It's horrible. How's that working out for us? You've got Fox News that love to quote Chicago. Look at Democrat-run cities. Democrat-run cities have the highest rates of crime. Da, 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 da. There's some truth to that. There is. Is there some propaganda in there? Absolutely. So instead of trying to prohibit Black people from having any interaction with firearms, how about we start giving them education and training? How about we start giving them resources? How about we build a range in our community so that way, if a young Jamal or Tyrone is interested with firearm training, that he doesn't have to go to the streets? What does that say about our community that the only way for Black youth to learn about firearm safety is to go to the streets to learn about that? Why can't our communities have the same access to these resources as the white suburban areas? Because I know when my white friends invite me to go to their range, they've got acres of property. They've got fishing, trap, long distance range. Why can't we have that? Their kids go on to hunting camp and hiking camp. You got Boy Scouts of America. You've got the fishing thing, mass wildlife fish and game and all that. Why can't we have any of these programs in our city? Because having an interest in firearms is not criminal. Having a desire to learn more about guns is not a criminal mindset. So why do we label it as that? Why? All the pastors after every shooting, well-meaning, oh, gotta get these guns off the streets. How about we put some access to education, training, and resources in the streets and see if gun crime don't go down? So that way a young Tamir don't have to be shot down, because we automatically think that a young Black boy with a gun is a criminal. He's a gangbanger. He's a thug. How about we try that? Because that message, that strategy of just Black people don't touch guns and leave it alone, how's that working out for y'all? Is that getting you the outcome that you want? Black Democrats, Black leaders, you guys who claim that you really care about the youth not dying in the streets and not dying by violent crime, if you truly value that over how you do that by trying to push a false propaganda, why don't we try a different strategy? How about we say, because we've been doing it for 20 years and we see it's not working out. How about we do a 3-year trial period? Hey, why don't we give access to education and training and resources to the cities that have the most gun violence? Why don't we give them an opportunity to learn how to use firearms safely? Why don't we channel that interest into a career where they can become security guards, police officers, federal agents, military? Why can't we channel that interest into something positive? Why can't we? What I'm saying is, to the Black community, is the messaging that we've been doing is not working. Kids are not running away from guns. They're not leaving them alone. The don't touch it, it's not working. So let's try something different. The other half of the Black community, Black gun owners. If you are a Black and brown gun owner, why are you voting for a politician that's anti-gun? I know that answer. I know why, but ask yourself why. Let me ask you a secondary question. Why aren't you holding your local politicians accountable? Why aren't you saying you will not get my vote unless XYZ? You can do both. You know that, right? You can get a politician that supports you in certain things, and you can apply pressure to that politician to change their stance. And to the other side of the two-way group, you make it so easy for Democratic politicians to demonize you with some merit. With some merit. You make it easy for propaganda to be thrown your way. You give them plenty of material. You give them plenty of material to work with. Why do you make it so easy for anti-gun Democrats, anti-gun politicians, to have their way? So if you're a black gun owner and you have a license to carry, I highly encourage you to hold your local politician accountable. Everywhere I go in Boston, I live in Boston. Everywhere I go, there's a flyer for a politician. This city council member, this person is running for this district. I see these flyers posted everywhere. We know what we're talking about. So when that politician comes to your area, why don't you tell that politician, hey, I agree with you on these things, but I think you need to consider these other things when it comes to the Second Amendment, the human right to self-defense. Us black people out of all people have the greatest need and right to self-defense. We were kidnapped from our homelands, dragged across the Atlantic, forced into centuries of slavery, forced into centuries of oppression and discrimination. We, above all people, should understand the value of self-defense. So why do we so throw it away willingly? Why? You are a group of people that say the right is bad. The right want to kill you. Tiki torches, this and that, racism, blah, 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 blah. The world is falling apart. But yet at the same time, you're telling your community to be unarmed. You're telling your community to, oh, you don't need a gun. You can trust that very same racist government. That very same government you claim to be racist, these same black people can trust that government. Is there not an irony in that? Black community, black gun owners, black politicians, black pastors and preachers and all that stuff. Is there not an irony that the same government we cannot trust, the same people that's out to get us, we want to depend on them for our security and our well-being and our safety? After you carefully document how blacks and Native Americans and every other, demographic has been wronged by these Europeans, but yet you're telling these same black people that they don't need guns? Are you crazy? Y'all look crazy. You got to be crazy for you to document all the ways we've been enslaved and discriminated against, and then at the end of the day and tell me, oh yeah, by the way, you don't need a gun. That's wild. I don't know how those two thoughts I don't know how you work them out in your brain. I don't know how y'all do it. How do y'all do that? I come from Haiti. We kicked our slave masters off the island, and we paid a dear price for it. But we sparked revolution all around the globe. Haiti's independence, Haiti's fight for independence sparked global revolutions all around the world. And we paid a dear price for it. But now you want to tell me to not bring my guns, to not have firearms? I'm never giving up my guns from my cold, dead hands, because there's enemies all around me. I understand my history. I will never let another oligarch, black politician who's protected by taxpayer dollars, who's got security all around them, state police, private security, federal bodies to protect them, to come and tell me I don't need any guns. How dare you? How dare you? Black people in this country, above all other people, have a claim to self-defense. because we came here against our will. We were forced to labor against our will, us and many other people, but us more than any other people. But now you want to tell us to trust that same government. Now you want to tell us to be unarmed. When our ancestors was unarmed and they came onto our shores and kidnapped, raped, killed, and forced us to trade our brothers and sisters so it wouldn't be us. And now you're telling us to be unarmed again. You crazy. That's my message to the Black community. Y'all are wildin'.